The good news is you can do this. And I'm going to encourage you, whatever you've been through, my prayers are with you, my thoughts are with you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rolla, clinical psychologist, and I'm doing the part 3 of authentic versus false forgiveness. I want you to subscribe to my channel, share with as many people as possible. I'd love you to follow me on social media at Ask Dr. Rolla, AskDrRolla. Now I'm going to conclude this subject in this video. For the person who is the authentic forgiver, the person who is on the path, a healthy path of forgiveness, they are not invested in the offender changing. They would love for the person who hurt them to change their ways. But their process of forgiveness is not conditional on the actions of the offender. Whether the offender changes their attitude or not, this person is taking ownership of their journey, and they're trying to do the work that they're doing the work that they need to do with support to get to work through their forgiveness. But the person who is doing false forgiveness is invested in the person changing, invested in certain actions taking place, which also means that in some ways, emotionally, that person who's doing the false forgiveness is placing their emotional life, and in some cases, every aspect of their life on hold, looking for direction, so to say, some kind of signal from the offender that is now time for them to work with their own issues. For the person who is in the false forgiveness, in some ways, their power, their locus of control is connected with the offender. And for the person who is doing the authentic, it is more internal locus of control, which is very powerful. For the person who is doing authentic forgiveness, forgiveness is a condition for reconciliation. The person on the healthy path of forgiveness will not reconcile just because. They want to make sure that they've worked through feelings of unforgiveness, of challenges, the feelings of resentment, the difficult emotions, before they then move to the direction of reconciliation. That person who is doing the authentic forgiving understands that reconciliation is a big step, and that they want to be able to make that decision with more information. But for the person who is doing the false forgiving, they're willing to reconcile if the offender wants to. The person who is the authentic forgiving is letting that decision to reconcile come from them. And the person who is doing the false forgiving is looking for the decision to reconcile from the other person. Many people who do this, who do the false forgiveness in terms of reconciliation, are very bitter, because they're doing reconciliation without a clear understanding of what the basis of the reconciliation is. And they assume that that person who they're reconciling with is going to do right by them. Many people end up being bitter for years, not understanding that they reconcile without having adequate information and understanding, and that even emotionally, they may not even be ready to be in that relationship because they have not worked through some of their own emotions to even prepare them to be in a healthy relationship. The big deal here, guys, is that forgiveness is not easy. It cannot be forced. It is a decision that you have to make as a person. And even when people may pressure you or judge you that you have not forgiven, do not feel pressured to do it in their own prescriptive way. The decision to forgive starts from you working through your inner person. And the path of it is not prescriptive as people may think it is. And the people that may be pressuring you to forgive may actually be confusing forgiveness with reconciliation. They may be looking for reconciliation, and so they're proposing that these are the steps that need to happen to show us that you forgive it. When you truly work through the process of forgiveness and you realize the freedom, the sense of freedom, and you feel that detoxification in terms of those feelings of resentment being much more level, taking the power away from what was done to you, not focusing on somebody that was intentional in harming you, and taking ownership of your journey. When you go through that process and you know how good you feel, it's incredibly empowering. And so you want to take charge of that process, but do it without undue pressure from different people. Realize that to forgive is, in the field of psychology, a moral call. And to forgive, according to the scripture, is a call from God. And it has therapeutic effects for you, regardless of what the offender does after the incident, an apology or not. The goal as we go through life is to learn. And even if you're not sure about forgiveness, at least you can start that journey, right? You can start that path and work through it and see how it feels. And I believe that as you feel better and you feel more empowered, and as you're building your inner resources, you're more likely to see forgiveness as a path to go on. And if you're on the path that is a false path, I want to encourage you to step away from that because it causes more harm, and begin to go on the healthy path and begin to acknowledge how you feel. Don't be in that place of denial anymore, excusing the person, condoning abuse, minimizing what was done. That is not a healthy place to be. It may look well packaged today in terms of the way people think you are, in terms of you having forgiven, but over time it will become obvious that you haven't. So it's better to get on the healthy path. I want you to subscribe, share with as many people as possible, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.